The Galactic Council Hall stretched before them like a cathedral of stars. Hazel had never seen anything quite like it. Crystalline pillars that seemed to bend light itself, floors that reflected not the present but possibilities of futures yet to come. She walked beside Leo, her diplomatic partner, both of them acutely aware that they were the only humans in a room filled with representatives from 47 alien species. "Stay calm," Leo whispered, his dark eyes scanning the assembled delegates. "We're here to negotiate, not to provoke." Hazel nodded, smoothing down her Earth delegation uniform. At 26, she was young for a diplomat, but her gift for languages both spoken and unspoken had earned her this position. Leo, 10 years her senior, had the experience she lacked. Together, they were humanity's voice in a galaxy that had only recently discovered Earth existed. The Crithani delegate rose from his seat, his forearms gesturing in what Hazel had learned was their species' sign of greeting. His exoskeleton gleamed purple under the hall's strange lighting. "We welcome the human delegation," he chittered through the universal translator. "Though we must discuss the incident." Hazel's stomach tightened. The incident. 3 Earth vessels had accidentally wandered into Voranian territory last month. The Voranians, a warrior race with scales like living metal and eyes that burned with inner fire, had nearly started an interstellar war over the perceived invasion. The incident was a navigational error. Leo began, his voice steady. "Humanity apologizes. The Voranian ambassador shot to his feet, his tail whipping behind him. He was massive, easily 8 feet tall, with claws that could rend steel. "Your species stumbles into sovereign space, your primitive vessels leaking radiation across 3 star systems, and you apologize." Before Leo could respond, the Voranian crossed the chamber in 4 powerful strides. His clawed hand shot out and grabbed Hazel's collar, yanking her forward. The fabric cut into her throat as he lifted her partially off the ground. "Perhaps," the Voranian hissed, his breath hot and smelling of sulfur. "Humans need to learn respect through." The hall fell silent, not the silence of shock or anticipation. This was something different. This was the silence of prey animals sensing a predator. Hazel didn't flinch. She'd grown up in the rough districts of New Detroit, had faced down gang members and corporate mercenaries before she was 20. Her heart hammered in her chest, but her face remained calm. She met the Voranian's burning eyes with her own steady gaze. "Let her go." Leo's voice had dropped to a register Hazel had never heard before. Every word was a chip of ice, but it wasn't Leo that made the Voranian's hand begin to tremble. All around the hall, alien delegates were rising from their seats. The Crithani translator emitted a sound like grinding gears. The silicate ambassador, a being of living crystal, began to vibrate at a frequency that made the air itself seem to shimmer with menace. "You don't understand," the small Pixan delegate squeaked, his cat-like features twisted in genuine fear. "You don't know what you've done." The Voranian's eyes widened. His grip on Hazel's collar loosened fractionally. "What are you? We warned you," the Crithani said quietly. "We all received the briefing. How did you miss it?" "What briefing?" The Voranian's confidence was cracking. An elder Aetherian, a species that resembled floating jellyfish made of pure energy, drifted forward. When she spoke, her voice carried the weight of centuries. "The human homeworld is a death world. Class 12 death world, one of only 3 in the known galaxy." Hazel felt the Voranian's hand go slack. She dropped back to her feet, adjusting her collar. Leo stepped beside her, his hand resting protectively on her shoulder. "Perhaps," he said softly, "we should explain what that means." The Voranian stumbled backward, his scales rippling through colors Hazel had learned indicated distress. I didn't. Earth's gravity is 1.3 times standard," the Crithani recited, as if reading from a document he'd memorized in terror. "Its atmosphere contains 21% oxygen, enough to cause hyperoxia in most species. Its sun bombards the surface with radiation that would sterilize most habitable worlds. And yet humans evolved there," the silicate finished. "They evolved in conditions that would kill most of us within hours." Hazel watched understanding dawn across the faces of the assembled aliens. She'd read the xenobiology reports, knew what most of them saw when they looked at humanity: Deathworlders, survivors of a planet that should never have produced sapient life. The Aetherian elder spoke again. Human bone density is 3 times standard. Their muscular structure is designed to function under crushing gravity. They heal from injuries that would be fatal to most species. They can survive on almost any organic matter. And most terrifying of all, she paused, and every eye in the hall turned to Hazel and Leo. They are pursuit predators. In their natural state, on their home world, they can run their prey to exhaustion over days of continuous tracking. They don't give up. They don't stop. They never, ever forget. The Voranian had gone completely white beneath his scales. He dropped to one knee, all 4 of his arms spread wide in a gesture of submission that Hazel recognized from her studies. I beg forgiveness. I didn't know. I thought. You looked so fragile. Hazel exchanged a glance with Leo. She could see the same calculation in his eyes that she felt in her gut. This was the moment. This would define how the galaxy saw humanity for generations to come. She stepped forward and extended her hand, small, delicate-looking, attached to an arm that could punch through a wooden door if necessary. Apology accepted, she said quietly. We all make mistakes. The important thing is what we do after. The Voranian stared at her hand as if it were a loaded weapon, which, she supposed, it technically was. Finally, he reached out and touched it gently with one clawed finger. The hall released its collective breath. The Krithani delegate chittered something that the translator rendered as relieved laughter. Perhaps, he said, we should discuss the navigational incident with fresh eyes. Clearly, establishing proper communication protocols between our species is more important than we realized. As the delegates settled back into their seats and the formal negotiations began, Hazel felt Leo lean close. Nicely done, he whispered. She smiled slightly. They were ready to start a war over a misunderstanding. Now they're too terrified to fight us and too impressed to dismiss us. Humans might be Deathworlders, but that doesn't mean we have to act like monsters. No, Leo agreed, watching as the Voranian ambassador repeatedly glanced their way with something between awe and terror. But it doesn't hurt that they know we could be, if we wanted to. The negotiations proceeded smoothly after that. Humanity had finally found its place in the galactic community, not as conquerors, not as victims, but as the species from the Death World who chose diplomacy over destruction. And in a galaxy full of wonders, that might have been the most alien thing about them.